Hey friend, it's Stacy saying hello with a Summer of Sabbath replay. You're listening to episode 21, Sneakers and Screens, Sabbath Distinction. Hi, I'm Stacy Holmes, and this is Glordinary, a few moments where we celebrate God's glory and champion the ordinary. I'm glad you're here. Have a favorite pair of shoes when you were a kid? When I was growing up, I liked being just a tad bit different from everyone else. I didn't want to be so different I was labeled weird, which in hindsight I totally was and still am. But I wanted to be different enough to be noticed, hence my shoes. Before every school year, my mom would take us to the outlet mall for new sneakers. And while a normal child would have picked out a nice pair, I selected a neon orange and purple pair of kicks. Oh, they were noticeable, all right. Distinctively noticeable. Yes, throughout my life, I've appreciated doing things or living life just a little bit differently. I'm drawn to a life of distinction, not a perfect life or a judgy or uppity one. No, just a different way of life, a distinctive life. Turns out, Sabbath is kind of a distinctive way of life. As in, Sabbath was unique to the Jewish tradition. You won't find it elsewhere in religious history. If you've been following along with our Summer of Sabbath series, you'll know we've been chatting through what a little R&R for the soul looks like. A Sabbath stop, rest, delight, and worship. And one of the best ways to live a distinctive life is a Sabbath rest from our digital distractions. Oh yes, guilty as charged. So let's talk about this desire for a distinctive life. Moses, well, he felt the same way as he was leading the Israelites in the desert. He'd just returned from the mountain, like the 10 Commandments mountain, to discover that the Israelites went to pot in the 40 days that he was gone. He was mad, God was mad, it was kind of a whole thing. And God says, listen, you go ahead and lead these people, I'm going to give you an angel to help. And Moses, well, he has himself a little moment and says, God, you have to come with us. And that's where we're going to pick up with God's response at Exodus 33, 14 through 16. Listen in. The Lord replied, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Then Moses said to him, if your presence doesn't go with us, don't send us up from here. How will anyone know that you're pleased with me and your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth? What else will distinguish me? He says. Why were the Israelites known as a people of distinction? Well, I can tell you it wasn't because of neon orange and purple sneakers. No, one reason. God's presence was among them. He shows up throughout the desert and wilderness in a burning bush, a cloud of smoke, a pillar of fire. He's on the mountain with Moses. He's a God of presence. And we've become a people of absence. Think about it. How many times has someone been speaking to us and we're there, but we're not there? I know in my life, I find myself apologizing to my husband, John, for totally zoning out as he describes his workday, trying to guess what he's just said. We're distracted. We're sad, bored, lonely, frustrated, and turning to our screens to fill the gaps, often without realizing it. We are glued to our digital distractions. I catch myself, or my kids do, scrolling my social media while our family's watching a movie together. Double screens. I end up down a rabbit trail of reels, and before I know it, 53 minutes of my life are gone. What? How did that happen? I'm watching other people's lives instead of living mine. Why? Why am I choosing absence when I was made to be present? Screens fracture our presence. If we want to be a person of distinction, a man or woman of distinction, we need presence, specifically God's presence. And there's a surefire way to reclaim presence, and it's Sabbath. Justin Whitmore Early writes in his book, The Common Rule, great book, by the way, we don't mean to live lives of absence, but without meaningful habits of resistance, Smartphones are impossible not to look at. He's not wrong. And Sabbath, well, that's a meaningful habit of resistance. Just like a new puppy or a tired toddler, our screens scream for our attention. We call them notifications, but let's be honest, they're more like abductions, pulling us away from presence into the abyss of absence. Let's try something new and parent our screens, even for just one day a week. Yep, we need to place our phones, iPads, laptops, watches into timeouts or shove them in a drawer. Don't shove a puppy or a toddler into a drawer. Begin by silencing, turning off, and leaving your phone in another room for 1 hour, then a few more, then a whole Sabbath. July 2023 was my wake-up call. I think I just got annoyed enough to finally change my habits. I chose to reclaim my presence. You see, I had tried little strategies to implement using less social media, news apps, entertainment, and well, did I mention social media already? No matter how much I'd try to limit my technology usage, it just wasn't working. So July 2023, I turned my smartphone into a dumb phone. Yep. I deleted all social media. I turned off all notifications. I eliminated the news. I kept the weather app because I justified its practicality. I went cold turkey, friend. And I'm not going to lie to you. Clearly, I had some withdrawal symptoms on some level. I never got the shakes, and I'm not minimizing withdrawal symptoms, but it was a little jarring to see my fingers automatically swiping the screen to find apps that I'd already deleted. You can call it muscle memory in my fingers. I'll call it what it actually was, an addiction. For a solid 2 weeks, yes, I said 2 weeks, I felt pockets of sadness, depression, and loneliness. I didn't know what was happening in people's lives, my friends' lives. I felt so disconnected and out of the loop. Crickets. For 2 weeks, in desperation to connect, I read every article on the weather app. Do you know how disconnected one needs to feel to read the articles on the weather app? Let's just say I was very informed on last summer's hurricane predictions. And after 2 weeks of feeling lonely, out of the loop, and, well, a good bit bored, I discovered, or rather rediscovered, what it means to be present. I started to notice something. My brain came alive again. My creativity came alive again. I started to dream again about launching a podcast. I began writing again, creating again, reading again. My low-grade anxiety and unrealized frustrations fell away completely. I slept soundly. I read classic novels I've wanted to read for years. FYI, they weren't that good, sadly, but the other dozen or so books I read those next few months were. I kept my phone in this mode, and I came back to social media to launch Glordinary. Choosing to take control back, to parent my phone, so to speak, allowed me to become present once again. The 19th century poet Elizabeth Barrett Browning once wrote, "Earth's crammed with heaven, and every common bush afire with God." I don't want to be so digitally distracted, so absent, I no longer see that common bush afire. I want to turn aside, notice, and quote, take off my shoes, especially those neon orange and purple sneakers. I'm done with being absent, friend. I'm ready to be the people of presence. You too? Let's choose today to live life differently as a distinctive, present people. Remember, you're not alone in this. I'm praying for you, friend. Have a glordinary day.